Arrohh, or more infamously known as the Wonder Kid from Waco, has done it yet again. And also, if you were not aware, Arrohh did just very recently get promoted to a coach in the Go Stadium as well. If you'd like to check out his introductory video as a Pokemon Go PvP coach, I'll put the link up there. But also, if you would prefer to just check out the link after this tournament, which might be a better idea, then I'll put the link in the description as well. Let's just look at his team. We'll put his team right up here. As you can see, so he does have the core of Wigglytuff, Alolan, Marowak, and he has the Medicham as well. But there's no Probopass, there's no Golbat, there's no Rhyperior that he brought. This is crazy, right? So he has the Licky, which, as we've seen recently, does have play. Licky is meta. There's no doubt about that. But he also brought Vileplume. We're all pretty familiar with Vileplume as well in the Rose Cup meta, but he brought Magcargo. So after looking into this, I think there are two main functioning roles that give the Magcargo pick a lot of value that Arrohh used to his advantage. And I didn't really consider this for the current Rose Cup meta. I don't think a lot of people did. Some people might have, but I mean, Arrohh ended up being the one that has swept 7-0 with it. This is the first time that at least I've seen it. The two things that Magcargo does that other picks do not, that really gives it a lot of value and a core place in Arrow's team composition. The first of is Magcargo can actually function pretty well as a charm user counter. And most people in these Rose Cup tournaments are opting for Alolan Marowak as a charm counter, or Probopass, or even Golbat sometimes as a charm counter. But Arrohh uses the Magcargo, and he is running that Magcargo with Rock Throw, Stone Edge, and Overheat. Okay, so just as a rough example, I think the most common charm user by far is Wigglytuff. Even in a 2-shield versus 2-shield scenario, Magcargo is going to straight beat out the Wigglytuff with only having to throw one Stone Edge, which does get shielded. So it basically in a 2-shield scenario will beat Wigglytuff just going straight Rock Throw. In the no shield versus no shield scenario, Magcargo still wins with just straight Rock Throw, but in a no shield scenario, it comes out with a total of 69 HP left, whereas in a 2-shield, it only has 20 HP left. Now remember again, like I just said, most people in tournaments opt for Alolan Marowak and Golbat as their charm user counters. Magcargo, again, it doesn't care about Wigglytuff, but Magcargo also doesn't care about Alolan Marowak or Golbat. He beats all of them. He beats all three. In the no shield versus no shield against Alolan Marowak, the Magcargo will take one Bone Club and throw the Stone Edge as soon as it gets access to it, and is left with 50 HP from that matchup. In the 2-shield versus 2-shield scenario with Magcargo and Alolan Marowak, Magcargo is still going to win with only throwing one Stone Edge, which does get shielded, and then it just wins by straight Rock Throw, and it's left with 91 HP. I think that kind of puts into perspective the functioning role of Magcargo and why it is such a spicy pick. So instead of sitting here talking about shield scenarios all day, let's go ahead and get into those battles, huh? Okay, so game 1, round 1 here. It looks like Revive 7 here had to send this gameplay to Arrohh. Arrohh might have not recorded or lost the recording, so Arrohh was actually the opponent in this first round, but we definitely won that open, right? They opened up with the Clefable, Arrohh had the Vileplume, so they swap into Golbat here. Arrohh successfully calls and shields that Shadow Ball, so that was good. That's a huge win at this point already, and Arrohh gets the bait with a Bone Club, so this should be a Shadow Ball at this range, which would do massive damage. In fact, it TKOs the Golbat. The Golbat's gonzo. They come back in with the Rhyperior, a little aggressive, and it looks like they decided to shield that Bone Club. Might not have been the best call, but I guess they want to save what they have built up so far on this Rhyperior to get more juice out of it, right? Wrecker, that does massive damage. I wouldn't think it does that much, but Rock Wrecker is just amazing. Arrohh takes out the Rhyperior with the Ice Punch. They come straight back in with the Clefable, but shields are down since they used down the Rhyperior. Sludge Bomb, super effective, GG's. It looks like we're going to be going to game 2 here. Remember, with Arroh's comp, he has a couple different options to counter fairies. So I definitely think, it's a little ballsy to still lead with the Clefable, and there it is. Here's the Magcargo. Arroh does open up with the Magcargo, which you can just see the rock throw damage comes super quick. They bring out the Rhyperior. Arroh answers and immediately deletes it with the Vileplume. Arroh says, no, get that thing out of here. I'm not going to let you rock wrecker again today. Throws the Sludge Bomb, which does get shielded, and it looks like Revive 7 here dedicates to a farm down with the wing attack, but Arroh has energy built up at this point on this Magcargo, so he throws the Stone Edge, and this is pretty much done. They have no shields. Shields are down. Arrow is obviously going to shield because they had 2. Now he only has 1. I wouldn't shield this Poison Fang. They don't have enough energy for another Shadow Ball, but it looks like he opts to shield anyways. Revive 7 is able to throw the Meteor Mash, which is going to take out the Magcargo, obviously, at this range. Medicham is left in the back. So this could be kind of interesting. I think this might actually be pretty close. The Ice Punch doesn't quite TKO, but the counter does right after. And, okay, this is definitely going to be going to Game 3. I thought for sure he had it with 2 shields on Magcargo, but let's go to Game 3. Right, so here we go with Game 3. This is the final for Round 1. Arroh hard loses that lead, swaps immediately into the Alolan Marowak. And they counter swap with the Rhyperior pretty quick as well. As you may notice, though, the only super effective answer they're going to have for the Alolan Marowak is Rock Wrecker. They are not running Surf. It looks like they opted for Superpower. So it's not like Arrow's still going to do much, but the Alolan Marowak's a little less threatened based on what they brought with this Rhyperior. So, oh my gosh, dude. Delete it again, dude. Vileplume. Arrow's like, you know what? If you want to keep bringing the Rhyperior, I won't even let you use that energy. That was nuts. So here's the Magcargo. Now this is a 1 shield versus 1 shield scenario. Remember who wins this scenario. Every single time the Magcargo is going to win. We should shield the Meteor Mash realistically at this range, and then we should be able to dedicate to a complete farm down with the Rock Throw on this Clefable and have tons of energy good to go for the Golbat boy here. GG's, man. Look at Magcargo, dude. Let's go, Arroh. Round 2 here up against Tromboneriscon, who looks like is opting a Go Battle League outfit with an adventure style hat. So I don't know, what are they, a Go Battle cowboy? But shout out to Tromboneriscon there. So Arroh has the Alolan Marowak in at this point versus this Gliscor. As you know, the Night Slash will be super effective to the Alolan Marowak. That's pretty common knowledge at this point. But Arrow's looking like he's not opting to shield at all. They still use their energy. That's kind of interesting, actually. I think I would have opted for a wing attack down, but they throw the energy anyways. Now here is the Magcargo. Arroh shields the Night Slash. They're going to throw another one at this point, so we know it's no longer possibly going to be Earthquake. No shield. We're going to dedicate to a farm down with the Rock Throw. We have 1 shield. They have none. Even though they have 2 Pokemon left, this is already advantageous. Throwing the Overheat. Okay, this is going to be spicy. Throws the Overheat at the Probo Pass. Massive damage. Swaps into the Medicham, but does get answered with an Alolan Marowak. So Arroh lets this go down immediately. I would have done exactly the same thing because now with the shield, I have the opportunity to go for a complete and total farm down on this AWAC and use a shield on the next Bone Club here, and we will have plenty of energy good to go to get rid of the Probo Pass. That's super close though, 1 HP. Dude, let's go! Deleted with the Overheat, dude. Okay, game 2 here against Tromboneriscon. I'm loving these games so much already. Medicham versus Medicham Mirror open. This can be kind of interesting, but Arroh swaps immediately into the Alolan Marowak to, I guess, kind of force their comp. He doesn't want to opt for a mirror, it looks like. He's pretty aggressive in his playstyle so far in this tournament. I'm really liking this, but he's able to throw the double Bone Club, it looks like, into the Drapion. They end up using 1 shield. And Arroh should not, okay, doesn't use a shield here. He's going to let, oh, it was a Fell Stinger. Okay, well, Arrow's able to reach another Bone Club at this point. Do we get another shield? We do, which basically KOs the Drapion. We're able to get in, I think we got in 1 counter. 1 counter's energy worth. I don't know how much energy that Medicham had at that point. I probably wouldn't have shielded myself. I don't know that it had a Psychic, but it was a power-up punch. Arrow throws the Psychic at the opposing Medicham. What are they running on that thing? Power Up Punch, Ice Punch, it looks like. Okay, well, they've already revealed their moveset now with the Medicham at this point, so if this ends up going to game 3, Arrow's going to have that knowledge under his belt so he can play around it. So he throws the Sidekick immediately into the Probo Pass, gets the shield, and Arrow's able to throw a few counters. This should be a Magnet Bomb. Yeah, which still does a decent chunk of damage, but Arrow is able to build up again to another Sidekick, throw it right into the face of the Probo Pass there, and Mustache Boy is gonzo. That is a clean 2-0. At this point, it looks like we are in round 4. It looks like his storage was full, so there's not really footage recoverable from round 3. Just know that Arrow did win. Looks like, unfortunately, we did lose somehow the rest of the recordings for that too. Again, his storage was full. Not really much we can do about it. But at the same time, I mean, I think, you know, he swept 7-0, and we've already seen how and why, and we've seen proof of his Magcargo just doing massive work. And yet again, unfortunately, with these specific recordings, we did have to end up just pulling these from the stream itself, so the quality is going to be a little bit fuzzy. But at this point, against Kaiser Koi, this is actually just the next round. So this is round 5, okay? Round 5, 6, and 7, I believe we pulled from stream. So they opened Rhyperior, and we opened up with the Medicham. Arrow opened up with the Medicham. So they answer immediately by swapping into the Alolan Marowak, which of course, Arrow's going to answer with the Magcargo. No shield, taking the Bone Clubs, doesn't care. It's going to Rock Throw down. Does it this time? It still does. Complete Rock Throw, farm down, has energy good to go for whatever they come in with next. And it looks like we opt to throw the Overheat, which would be resisted, but still does massive damage. That took out so much damage from the Rhyperior. Obviously, they swap out almost instantly, anticipating the Medicham, but they come out with the Golbat, I guess, as an answer, or an anticipated answer. And Arrow here still has this Alolan Marowak that he can use as an answer to the Golbat. So this is very, very, very well played. We've seen them not use any shields just because of Arrow's playstyle and his strategy with this insane, nutty team composition. It's been very, very impressive. So he's able to reach another Bone Club here. Definitely should get a shield at this point. And then the Ice Punch will finish the job here against the Rhyperior. Another close with the Ice Punch. GG's. So game 2 here, round 5, up against Kaiser Koi. They open with the Golbat. Arrow hard loses the lead with the Medicham. Answers with the AWAC, and they counter answer. They counter swap with their Rhyperior. So not ideal for Arrow. They do kind of learn a little bit from game 1. Use the shield because Arrow he didn't try and bait with the Bone Club in the Rhyperior. He went straight Shadow Ball, which I think was still a good thing to do because now they are down a shield. And he's thrown a Surf, so he knows at this point it's just going to be another Surf right after that. He can counter down all the way, and I'm hoping we can throw a Psychic into the Golbat to take the last shield here. Okay, so they come in with the Alolan Marowak. We throw the Psychic anyways, but Arrow still has this Magcargo. This Magcargo, dude. Arrow's Magcargo, this is magnificent. I'm kind of a big fan of Magcargo myself. I did not use it or even really think about using it for the Rose Cup. Honestly, I think I called it a meme pick for the Rose Cup, but that was like very, very early on in the meta, you know, before like AWAC and Golbat cores started to become a thing. So don't at me, okay? We're throwing the Stone Edge here, and it obviously is going to go shielded at this range, but we are... Oh, this is going to be GG's. So this is for sure going to be going to game 3 because that Bone Club at that range on shield... Nope, never mind, dude. Arrow's able to finish with the counter from a Medicham into an Alolan Marowak. We don't even need to watch this game 3. That's a 2-0. Let's go ahead and move to round 6. Okay, now getting into round 6 here. Looks like is against Vergyverg. If you do not know Vergyverg, fantastic Pokemon Go PvP content creator and streamer. I will put the links to follow, subscribe, etc. in the description below for Vergyverg. So if you're interested, definitely go check him out. Highly recommended. Arrow's throwing the Shadow Ball at Vergy's opposing AWAC at this point. They do not shield. It connects. So Arrow's kind of in an interesting position, right? It looks like Arrow does opt to dedicate a shield and farms down with the Fire Spin on the opposing Alolan Marowak. They answer with the Golbat, and Arrow throws the Shadow Ball straight away. Not playing any games with the Bone Club against the Golbat. Just go straight Shadow Ball. That takes a little bit of discipline, right? Just know your matchups and throw the straight Shadow Ball. We dedicate a shield at that point because they had the Shadow Ball. And the Psychic Oh no, so the sidekick landed, AWAC survived and had a Shadow Ball. It looks like it was kind of a mistap, I guess. But Arroh opted for the Bone Club, unfortunately. Could have gone for the Shadow Ball, but that's okay. We're throwing the Ice Punch at the opposing Medicham here. And they probably have another Psychic at this point, which will hurt, but is not going to take TKO. Gets us down into the yellow, then the counters get us into the red. We throw another Ice Punch at the opposing Alolan Marowak. I'm sorry, Medicham, which is shielded. But now, out comes the Magcargo here. You're not running Dynamic Punch. You're not running Power Up Punch. This Magcargo is going to farm you down, and that is GG's. And let's go to Game 2 here. Again, shout out to Vergyverg. All right, so getting into Game 2 here, round 6 against Vergyverg, it looks like Arroh opts for some Mega Spice team composition right now. So from what I saw, he had the Vileplume, Magcargo, and then Licky. So that's pretty crazy. He hard loses his lead with the Golbat, immediately answers with the Licky, and out comes the Medicham. So again, at this point, Arroh knows for sure, like we know for sure, their Medicham does not have Power Up Punch or Dynamic Punch. So we should be able to, okay, so they baited, I think they had a Psychic at that point. They might have baited with the Ice Punch. I'm not exactly sure. I wasn't counting, I apologize, but we are nonetheless able to lick down with the Licky here. Do we reach the Earthquake? No. Feels bad, man, but we come in with the Vileplume. Interesting. So I think he's just wanting, at this point, he wants Vergyverg to use and throw his energy, and now he can save the shield and come and farm down on the Alolan Marowak and hopefully completely dominate this Golbat here. This is going to be interesting. This is I think the sauce. This is the pinnacle point of this video in how Arroh demonstrates his usage with Magcargo, hopefully. Okay, this is, oh, that's Shadow Ball. That's GG's. Also, I mean, it was 2 shield versus no shield. He's he wants to still run this like Spice. He wants to run the Mega Spice, but he has to be able to answer the Golbat more reliably, which is I think why he decides to open up with the Magcargo this time. So he hard catches Vergyverg with the lead. They open with the Golbat again. We see an immediate swap and counter swap to a Medicham mirror situation. So it's a tough call with this kind of mirror matchup, right? Because it's pretty easy to bait in the mirror matchup with an Ice Punch. So it's really just a matter of, do I shield the Psychic or do I not? Because they might be baiting. They did throw an Ice Punch at that point, so Arroh actually still baits at this range. Kind of surprising. That has not been exactly coherent with his, his behavior and his decisions so far in this tournament. But it looks like it worked because that kind of forced Vergy to basically use his energy with the Medicham at that point, and now he can come in with the Licky here. They throw a Bone Club, not such a big deal at all. Licky does not care about Alolan Marowak. It'll basically farm for days. So here we see the Magcargo. Arrow's like, you know what? I've been using it. You're not going to shut me down with this Magcargo. I'm going to make it work. And I mean, it's pretty much done at this point. He can come back in. I believe the Medicham has a sliver of health left, but the Stone Edge connects at this point. Instant TKO. Okay, yeah. So the Medicham does have a good amount of health left. It is able to counter down, but again, we still have this Licky here. We throw the Earthquake straight at the Medicham, and that is GG's. Okay, so now we are in the final round here, round 7. This is going to be for all the cheese and crackers, Arroh against Dix Brooks. So Arroh currently has, I think he's just thinking about the line, but he has Medicham, Alolan Marowak, and Magcargo opted for so far. I think that's pretty decent considering their team composition, so we'll see how this works out. Opens Medicham. Okay, they open with the Gligar. Do we see an instant swap? No, because we do have the Ice Punch. Arrow wants to apply that Ice Punch pressure right now. I don't... Okay, so it lands actually. Since it landed, it looks like Arrow opts to... Oh, okay, so he already had registered that swap. That's what was confusing me. So the Gligar is able to throw another Night Slash. The Alolan Marowak is not going to shield. They did get the attack boost though. Feels bad, man. So we are going to use a shield so we can farm down with the Fire Spin on that Gligar. They opened pretty well with that Gligar. So not going amazing so far. But one shield, I almost said 0. 1 shield versus 2 shield. Arrow opts for the bait at this point, which was smart. So now it's 1 versus 1. And Arrow has plenty of energy built up. He can throw the Shadow Ball. which connects. So Arrohh played that perfectly as far as catching up with the shield scenario, and out comes this Magcargo here with a 1. Oh no, it's Blaziken. So as you can see, right, Blaziken is fire and fighting typing, so these rock throws will still deal a considerable amount of damage to the Blaziken. The Blaziken's not going to completely, you know, just go to farm city on the Magcargo. Obviously it's going to win that matchup after using a shield, but oh no. Well, I mean, we have another shield at this point. There should be a Blaze Kick. They might even... Nope, that's it. That's GG's game 1. I thought they might have had back-to-back Blaze Kick, but they did not. And Arrohh still had a shield anyway, so that is a hard GG's game 1. Let's go to game 2. Okay, so game 2, it looks like Arrohh is thinking about locking in with Magcargo lead, Vileplume, and then Wigglytuff. This is a super aggressive team. We do win the lead. Definitely win this lead. It's going to be Farm City for this Alolan Marowak. We already know that. Looks like Dixbrook might know that as well. So they answer with a Gligar swap, and we come in with the Wigglytuff. So the Night Slash obviously would be resisted. So that was, I guess that was a successful bait at that point. But the Dig would still do massive damage. So I don't necessarily think it was a bad shield either on Arrow's part. And there is the Dig. So we have invested both shields at this point, but again, we have 3 Pokemon. Dixbrooks has only 2, but also does have a shield, whereas Arrohh at this range has no shields left. So it's going to be a Bone Club for sure. Do not throw the Shadow Ball against a Wigglytuff. It resists, and we are able to throw the Ice Beam here, the Shiny Flex Ice Beam. Okay, so we actually swap out. Is this going to be a Shadow Ball? It is a Bone Club, so the Rock Throw should be able to farm down just like that before anything else can happen, and overheat into Steelix, dude. What? Overheats the Steelix, keeps throwing the Rock Throws. The Steelix is basically forced to use energy at this point. They take us down with the Dragon Tail and then Vileplume. Doesn't even... Oh no. Oh no. Well, I mean, it's not going to KO. Even an Earthquake at this range, I don't believe is going to OHKO the Vileplume. That's GG's, dude. I think Arrohh might have the spiciest team so far, in my opinion. That is also the most successful at the same time because of his matchup knowledge with Magcargo versus the Golbat, the Alolan Marowak, as well as the Charm users. Arrohh just dominated this tournament. Arrohh was just Arrohh. And again, just in case you forgot, Arrohh did recently just get promoted to a coach in the Go Stadium. Officially, he is a Go Stadium coach. If you're interested in watching his introductory video as a coach, again, I'm going to put the link in the description below, so check that out. And if you are interested in being coached by the Arrohh that comes up with these insane strats, Arrohh sweeps 7-0 with a Magcargo. If you want to be coached like that, you want to have those kind of PvP skills and that kind of matchup knowledge, the link to the Go Stadium Patreon, of course, too, is always in the description below. That's how you can have access to being coached by the one and only Arrohh. I'm a massive fan and personal advocate for the Texas PvP scene, and much love for all y'all out there. Shout out to Texas PvP as well, Mr. Livid, who actually did stream this tournament and broadcasted it for everybody as well. Thank you to Cello Puddin for doing all the work that you did on stream, and of course thank you to the tournament organizers and everybody who made this tournament happen. But again, very, very well done by Arrohh. I dub this Mega Spice. I think this has been one of the spiciest runs that I've seen for the Rose Cup. Arrohh, GG's, man. If you did enjoy the video, remember to leave a like. It does help a lot. And also subscribe for the Go Stadium vibe and power up punch the notification bell for all this Go Stadium PvP content. That's it for this video. We'll see you in the next video. Battlers and girls that PvP, have a fantastic day.